So I got some new tyres. These Milestar Patagonias, mud trains. Now, my mate Matt recommended these. He said something along the lines of, "This is what all the cool kids are running." And I'm like, well, that's not enough. But anyway, I had half-worn Nitto Trail Grapplers on, and there's nothing wrong with those. They're a good tyre. A little bit heavy, but good, a really good tyre. Anyway, I was doing this trip, and I normally try and put new tyres on before a big trip because it's a lot cheaper than having tyres that break. Anyway, so I took his word for it, and I got these. And so far, I have to say, they are the bee's knees. Better than Nitto Trail Grapplers. I mean, they're good. Nothing wrong with them, but these are, for me, they're better. These are a bit lighter, and the axles in these Land Rovers aren't the strongest things in the world, and I was starting to get a bit worried about that. So the same size. So these are 285 75 16s. So I've taken them up to Victorian High Country. Was the first trip I took them on, and they were really good up there. We were on some shaly, well, not shaly rock, but on this granite boulder thing, trying to drive up, and it was a bit slippery because there was loose, tiny stones on the surface. And I don't think it would have mattered what tyre we had, we were going to run into that problem, and it was wet. So they slipped a bit then, but so far these out up of the high country, through the mud, through the river crossings, through the rocks in the river crossings in the high country, been great. Out here, the Gibber stone, I think they call it out here, it's like rock which is big and shiny and rough as. These are going over it just fine. We've had the tyre pressures on 24 today, over all the sand that we've been doing, and they've just chewed it up. And it's been wet out here, like uncharacteristically wet for the Simpson Desert, and you can see some bits have come through at the right time because the water's just dried out enough where there's just, on the surface, it's like broken up dry clay bed, and it's still moist. And then sometimes you go through actual mud. And these just, I know I'm going slow because I don't want to stuff this joint because it's a pristine area and I'm not in there at all. So I'm going, and I'm in really slow, as in just crawling through it because it's hard. You don't need to spin the wheels and fly through it or anything. And these going really slow, it's just flicking the mud out everywhere. You can see it all over the car. And so they clear really well. So I've got to say, I'm impressed. I really need to put it through its paces some more and do some, the stuff I'm used to in the high country a bit more. But, it's not going to get that wet, I don't think, from here on in. So either way, I still think they're better than any tyre I've had previously. So I had the Bridgestones and the Nittos. But these are definitely, so the Nittos are better than the Bridgestones, but you get what you pay for, right? These are in the same price range as the Nittos, but I would say marginally better. But not as good as going from the Bridgestones to the Nittos. Like that was a big step. That was actually changing brackets, in my opinion, of what kind of tyre you had. Yeah, these knees, you should get them. Okay, so we just crossed this clay pan, and that's us. That's a little too close for comfort. It seems alright until you get to this end here, and well, instead to put the power in a little bit, not stupidly, to get through it. But those tyres, they got me through. That was amazing. But I'd like to not have to do that again.